Hi, everyone. I'm Matt Ricker.
And I'm Catherine White, Executive Director of the New Rochelle Chamber of Commerce.
And we're here with the brand new podcast, Chamber Chat.
It'll be up on our YouTube channel and on Spotify, so check us out.
All right, so joining us now is Chief Andy Sandor, Chief of the New Rochelle Fire Department. Thank you for joining us, Andy.
My pleasure.
Andy is a Iona alum. We're broadcasting from Iona University here on North Avenue. And as always, thank you, Iona, for having us. So, Andy, October is Fire Prevention Month.
It is.
And, there's really, Fire Prevention Month should be a year-round thing.
Sure.
But if you are a business owner, if you're a homeowner, what are some tips that you have to safeguard your property?
So October is a great time because kind of everybody, things are cooling down and we're starting to go back inside, so to speak. We're not spending as much time outside. So it'll probably be a good time to evaluate cleaning out your storage areas and things of that nature, especially in boiler rooms and stuff like that now, because furnaces are going to start working a lot more in the cold weather. And, it's good to check. You're supposed to really not have anything in your where your furnace or your boiler is, okay? But the code was updated, thankfully. It should be at least, give a good distance, but technically if we walk in and we see anything in the boiler room, it's no-go. So things like that. Also, be aware this time of year, we drive around and you see all these great decorations. Everybody's into the Halloween spirit, and that's awesome. Halloween's like every year it seems like, it's a more fun and bigger event. And just realize that, just kind of check where you're putting your hanging, droopy things coming down from the ceiling, pieces of fiber and rope for effect and stuff like that, that they're not near any, lights or outlets or any such thing like that. That's probably a good idea. And especially now in this day and age, we're all aware of our lithium-ion battery situation,
right?
Which unfortunately has been, that's a thing of our time now, is that it's great. These devices serve great purposes and make life a lot more efficient, but we just have to be aware of where we're leaving these things, where we're charging them, especially our e-bikes and things like that. How's that for a start?
Definitely, but speaking of the lithium batteries, if people want to dispose of them, where do you dispose of them safely?
So New Rochelle is in Westchester County, okay? Mm-hmm. Different towns can and can't. New Rochelle can bring your disposed lithium-ion batteries to Valhalla, the Woods Hole Road, okay, is the county, I forget the exact official name for it, but it's like a county dump site. And if you Google Valhalla, lithium-ion, Westchester County, lithium-ion battery disposal, it'll guide you to Woods Hole Road in Valhalla, which is near the Westchester Community College.
Got it. Okay.
And the jail and all that.
I know that back a few weeks back they were holding a press conference in New York City because there was some fire in an apartment building, and it actually was due to an e-bike, and they were advising residents not to bring e-bikes up to the apartments and charge them, because that is a hazard.
Oh, sure. Yeah, that's been a thing for a while now. In New Rochelle, we've had several events involving e-bikes, some larger than others. We've had some large apartment building fires from that. We've had in the back of garbage trucks, things like that.
Seen that.
People's apartments. So a good rule of thumb is certainly if you have an e-bike, don't always think, and again, I'm a fire chief because I think that, but still we should try. There's a lot of basic stuff that you can do. You don't have to be like a professional. Like in your house, you could think of the exit. We call it the path of egress, okay? If we had to get out right from this room, I'm sitting here looking right now. There's the exit sign. God forbid something occurs. If we had to get out, we're going for that door where the exit sign is, kind of thing. And we would hope that we would have, plot our clear path kind of thing. So point being, if I rode an e-bike here, I wouldn't want to charge it right there by the door. Leave it right there, because heaven forbid an event occurs. We don't want it to be in our path of egress.
Yeah.
So that's been an ongoing thing. And again, Westchester County and New Rochelle as well, everywhere, every town really, has been working to raise awareness of this lithium-ion battery safety. Certainly what people do sometimes if they have a device, especially an e-bike or some such thing, what do we want to do? Things are expensive these days. Yeah. So if we can buy a knockoff on eBay or some such thing, that's what we do. Unfortunately, these batteries aren't always reputable. You want something that's, especially for these purposes, something that's UL, United Underwriters Laboratories listed, tested kind of thing. You don't want to buy it from, like I said, whoever, or on the street or whatever, or from some shop where the guy's rebuilding them, things like that. So.
All right. Well, also, shifting gears to carbon monoxide and smoke detectors. It's an important time of year to check those because, you have, if the heat is pumping and if, God forbid, there's a problem, and if you don't have a carbon monoxide or smoke detector, you could be in big trouble.
Absolutely, absolutely. And thank you for bringing that up because that is the National Fire Protection Association theme for this year's Fire Prevention Month.
Wow.
Is smoke detectors, make them work for you. Okay? So in other words, it's kind of like a little catchphrase thing. But so go check your smoke detectors, not only test them and press them and make sure they're working, but also check the date on them as well because, you may have moved into an apartment or a house and you've been there for a while. And the smoke detector might be, anywhere, as I'd say, from 7 to 10 years old. You could follow your you could, again, the times we live in, you could look up on the internet, look up your manufacturer specifications on how long these, sometimes on the detector themselves, they'll have an actual expiration date. And certainly it's worth whatever the price, $40, $50 to get a new detector and keep them current and keep them working because they have been known to save lives.
So that's in a home, you put your own in. But we have all the new developments in the downtown. Are those apartments already equipped with smoke detectors or do those, everybody who rents one has to get their own?
So they should be equipped with those. I would check with your building management and your landlord on that arrangement. When people move into the high rises, they're given a binder or a kit of some sort, for all types of situations. And I would put that on your checklist when you move in. Check the smoke detector and ask them, is it my responsibility or yours? That should be in your lease and all that kind of thing.
Right, because a lot of those renters are young and it's their first lease. I don't know that they would necessarily think about that.
Absolutely. Yeah. So again, when you're a homeowner or an apartment owner or whatever, which also brings to mind a quick plug for the insurance industry. If you live in an apartment, get renter's insurance.
Absolutely.
Okay, because sadly we go to a lot of events, fires, and the folks may or may not have renter's insurance, and if they do, then obviously so much the better.
Right,
so
definitely.
Always be prepared.
So New Rochelle recently held a fireman's exam.
Right.
So how did that go? Do we have a lot of recruits?
Yeah, I'm told we had at least 200 people have come out so far. I believe Sunday. It's a good sign because Sunday is our third day of the agility test.
Okay.
They could only test so many people in one day, and sometimes they'll, usually they'll do more than one day. There was 2 days. This time it's actually going into 3 days, and Sunday's expected to be a full day, which is a good sign. We're getting a lot of people coming out, a lot of good candidates. And, it's encouraging, when folks come in and, I see them come in, for their interview. I get a list from civil service and all. And, the last few, we've been very fortunate. The last few years, I'd say maybe the last 40, 50 people we've hired. I mean, these people got it going on. They're smart and they're strong.
So what's the process? You take a civil service test, and
Right.
then if you get a certain score, you do the agility tests.
Right.
But then what happens?
Right, and then generally how it works is the two tests every New Rochelle does its own kind of civil service thing. We still go by state rules and all that, but in New Rochelle they take the written test,
Right.
your score. They take your score on the agility test. They add the two together, average it, and that's your final score. And that's how you get ranked.
And then how often do they hire from the lists?
It depends on generally as retirements occur right now. We are growing our staffing in the fire
Right.
department.
Excellent.
And we may hire a few extra people next year. Again, that's something we're looking at with budget and balancing, overtime and hiring and staffing, all that kind of stuff. We'll be hiring at least 2 people in the spring. We have 2 people retiring. So, and again, over the last few years, we've had a slew of retirements. It's kind of like a cycle almost. You hire a bunch of people, and they stay on for 20, 30 years, and then that group goes, and then it kind of levels out again, and so that kind of thing. So.
I always tell people if they're unsure of if they want to take the test or not, I always just encourage them to take it, because even if you just take it and get on the list and change your mind later, hey, at least you're on the list. Like, there's no harm in doing that.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely, yeah. I remember some of the best advice I got was, just take whatever civil service test you can. Doesn't mean you have to go into that profession or whatever, but, leave your options open is kind of the point, And it's funny, just a personal reflection. I remember, I caddied when I was young, and all my father's friends, because my father caddied, and they'd always, oh yeah, take the civil service, you gotta, this, that, take all the tests you can. You get a paycheck every 2 weeks, this kind of stuff. You don't make a killing, but it's what a fulfilling job, I'll tell you.
Well, everyone
Bro,
loves firefighters.
and believe me, it ain't about money. Hey, we're not starving, which thank God.
Yeah.
But what a fulfilling job, man. You can't imagine. So yeah, take the test, please.
Well, now on a personal note, what would you say your most rewarding or memorable moment as a firefighter was?
As a firefighter, oh man, that'd be hard to say. There were just so many. I mean, just the people that you work with. Again, the caliber of these are doers, the people, and they're again, it's not about the money. We come, yeah, great, you get hired and whatever, your salary and all this, but it's about the job itself and just, the working together, the camaraderie, and just being able to deal with people at their worst moment, some of them. This is the worst thing that's ever happened to them in their life, God forbid. And, and we're trained every day and just to help them and just to, some situations where you, especially, bad situation, you were able to help out somebody. Right. That's probably the best times on the job, is the people.
Great.
Yeah.
That's great.
All right. Well, Chief Andy Sandor, thank you so much for coming in. And, we thank you and all your staff for all that you do for our wonderful city. And keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah, and all your support for the New Rochelle Chamber of Commerce.
I was just going to say, God bless the Chamber of Commerce, man. I tell you what, City Hall, working there, I was never worked in an office before, if you can't tell. But now I work in City Hall in an office, and I'll tell you what, it's a nice place to work. We have very nice vibe, people work together, and I've seen that with the Chamber as well.
Yeah.
As the Chamber travels around town, we go to all our ribbon cuttings and all our events, and great stuff. And can't wait for halal guys on Friday.
Exactly. So thanks so much.
All right.
All right.
Thank you,
Thank
Andy.
you, Andy.
Thank you.